Hello and welcome to another Turing Dev Talks. I'm Jose and I'm tuning in from Montreal, Canada. And today on the panel we have Arnab, which is expert in machine learning and data science. And he's tuning in from India. He has worked as a data science and machine learning engineer for quite a while. And Arnab is graduated as a mining engineer from a top engineering university in India. But today he's working in the field of machine learning. And I would like to hear more about that from you, Arnab. But today he is here to talk about the roles of machine learning and data structure, okay, for our audience to understand and help us to understand how to closely related term different from one and other. Let's get started. Hi, Arnab. First of all, nice to meet you. Okay, thanks a lot for joining us today. It's my pleasure to talk with you today. And how are you today doing? And how is the working with you?
Hey, Jose, thanks for having me here. I'm doing pretty good. So yeah, the work as usual at Turing is quite challenging and exciting. I mean, every day we are solving for something new and it keeps me on my toes and I love that. So yeah, apart from work, two things I'm trying to keep constant. I'm hitting the gym regularly and watching Netflix for a couple of hours. So yeah, things are going great at my front.
Yeah, apart of the gym, we are pretty much the same. Your day sounds like a perfect mixture of work, family, and fun, right?
Exactly.
Let us now dive deep into the discussion today. Can you tell our audience what exactly a data science and a machine learning engineer do?
So data scientists, they work very closely with the business stakeholders to understand their problems and their goals, and then use relevant data to derive insights from it, create predictive models, and then solve those business problems and achieve the business goals. So for example, a data scientist working at a bank might be asked to figure out a way to decide whether the customer will actually default if the bank provides them a loan or not. So then the data scientist would go across the historical data of customers defaulting and non-defaulting, and then analyze those data, come up with a predictive model to solve the problem. So yeah, machine learning engineers, they come from the other direction. So they are more focused on productionizing the models and embedding those models into application or company-wide platform so that these models can be easily accessed by the end user. So in the following bank example, a machine learning engineer might take the model created by the data scientist and then productionize it within the company's platform, internal platform or tool. So with this, the insights are now actionable and the bank can easily decide to which customers they should go forward to with the loan and which customers they shouldn't.
What, according to you, is the major difference between the two?
So data scientists, they actually focus more on solving the business problem by creating a technical model. And the major task of a machine learning engineer is to take that model and productionize it so that the end users are now being able to use that.
Oh, got it. Yeah, and they do seem quite different, but are there some common tech stacks both need to know?
So I believe both need to know a very high level programming language and its libraries. So I believe mostly Python and its libraries are most commonly used. So I would say the data science libraries in Python like scikit-learn, NumPy, Pandas, and also deep learning frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch. I think these are the things which a data scientist and a machine learning engineer should know really well. For the data scientist, what it would mean is that they should be able to use these libraries and then come up with the best model possible to solve the business problem. And for the machine learning engineer, they would need to optimize the development of this, optimize the deployment of these models.
Okay. And what are some day-to-day tasks that both perform in their respective roles?
So for a data scientist, a day-to-day task might look like they might work on formulating the business problem which they're trying to solve. I mean, understand the needs of the business, maybe gather data and verify the integrity of the data which they are going to use. Might even do a domain-specific research to understand the data a bit more in depth, and then more specifically, like focus on cleaning, processing, visualizing the data, analyzing it to find out various trends, correlations, and patterns in those data sets. and then also focus on like building predictive models, focus on selection of features, ideating which models to use, performing statistical tests and optimizing those models, and then again validating the results back and comparing which models are the best to be used for this particular business problem. And then you definitely have that communicating the results back to the stakeholders. So yeah, these are some of the tasks which a data scientist does on a day-to-day basis. A machine learning engineer, on the other hand, I mean, they initially start their day with checking whether the models in production are working fine or not, and the entire machine learning system is stable or not. I mean, if there are any issues or bugs with it, and if there are any issues or bugs, they focus that, keep that as the first priority and focus on fixing that. Apart from that, so they research on how to optimize the models, how to improve the latency of the services, what challenges can be faced while scaling the service. So yeah, they discuss these things with the team members, and they work on implementing those things. So yeah, working as a machine learning engineer, there you are expected to code a lot. So yeah, writing unit tests and integration tests. And apart from coding, you're also expected to review your peers' codes as well. So yeah, a lot of time goes in writing the code and reviewing the code. They also collaborate with a lot of different stakeholders like data engineers and data scientists. They collaborate with data engineers to work on various data pipelines, and they definitely collaborate a lot with data scientists to understand and get more information about the models which are going to be pushed into production. So in a nutshell, I would say that there is a lot of writing, reviewing, researching, and fixing code.
Right. And for me, before you explain, for me, both are the same, but I see they see very clear difference in the role, right? But why then is there an impression on the outside, okay, regarding the designation of the two roles being still a little bit vague?
Well, if you see both data scientist and machine learning engineer, these positions are actually relatively new. So yeah, there tends to be a little bit of fluidity on how you actually define what a data scientist is and what a machine learning engineer is. So most companies, they usually find it difficult to differentiate between them. And this can be clearly be seen in their job descriptions for data science or for a machine learning engineer. So based on my experience, like I was previously working as a data scientist, I was solving both business problems, creating models, and I was actually handling the deployment part as well. So you see, I was doing both where my job role was only a data scientist. So yeah, I believe that there is a bit of ambiguity and there exists a bit of vagueness. But moving forward, I believe that these things will go away.
Nice, nice. And move on. So Arnab, where does the role of data science and that a machine learning engineer begins? So when you finish and then when the other start?
So I would say there exists a lot of collaboration between these two, and I find it very difficult to pinpoint an exact place where the role of data scientist ends and a machine learning engineer begins, because both are heavily involved in the entire end-to-end process, right from pre-development to post-deployment. I mean, a data scientist's primary task would be to translating the business problem into a technical model, the model which can take in a certain set of attributes and produce some sort of results. For a machine learning engineer, he or she works with the data engineering team to build data pipelines so that the data can be used by the data scientist for model training. And also after the model is built, the machine learning engineer then takes the model and then integrates the model with the company's platform. So that can involve creating an API around it so that the model can be used by the end user. And then also maintain the integrity of the model as well as the system. And then again, there is a collaboration between the two to check how the model actually performs in production, whether there is a feature drift or not. Do we need the model to be retrained or not? So again, there is a lot of collaboration between the data scientist and machine learning engineer. So I believe it's very difficult to pinpoint an exact place where one of them roles ends and another role begins.
Yeah. And you say MLE, right? MLE is again promised, but it's still only 4.5% of data science engineers from the US work as a machine learning engineer, right? Why do you think that might be the case?
Yeah, well, definitely, machine learning engineering is definitely gaining a lot of prominence across companies because they realize that the value of machine learning or data science cannot be realized until the model is successfully deployed into production. And if you look at the LinkedIn Rise on the Jobs article, machine learning engineering is actually one of the fastest growing titles within the last couple of years. And people transitioning to machine learning engineering are mostly data scientists like me and software engineers. So earlier, everything was encompassed within the title of a data scientist or a data analyst, but now the roles they seem to get clearer and clearer and clearer. So I believe that we will see a steep rise in the number of machine learning engineers being hired globally.
Nice. And let's now shift our discussion to the kind of roles, okay, it takes as they progress through their career, okay? What is the typical career progression in both roles?
So, I mean, the career progression for the two is actually quite similar and they're parallel to each other. For a data scientist, I mean, at the entry level, you start as a junior or associate data scientist. And then with a couple of experience, you move towards the mid-level, you become a data scientist. And at a mid-senior level, you are given the task of being a data science manager. And then at the top level, you definitely have the director of data science or the VP of data science. So for a machine learning engineer, this is relatively similar. I mean, the entry level, they may start as a junior data scientist, or they may even start as a software engineer. And then with a couple of years of experience, they transition to be a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer. And at a mid-higher level, so they become senior data scientist. And then definitely at the top level that you have director of data science or VP of data science. So I believe that these two, they follow very similar and parallel career paths. And apart from these roles, the demand for data science and machine learning engineering is so high that you don't need to commit to just working for an organization. I mean, there are plenty of opportunities outside. You can do freelance consulting, or you can actually teach the next generation of data scientists and machine learning engineers.
Yeah, you can create your own business on that, right? Yeah, and that reminded me a recent survey that I come across. The global GDP will increase by 14% by 2030 due to machine learning and artificial intelligence. That's so great. And okay, so now Arnaldo, so we've talked about what is MLE and DS, okay? But I think our discussion will be incomplete without mention of the future trends in AI and DS.
Yeah, so I mean, the future is definitely going to be exciting. I mean, the trends which I see is that, I mean, a lot of companies will be moving towards cloud-based AI and data solutions. And there will be an increasing shift towards it because, you know, data is being produced in large quantities day by day. So collecting them, labeling them, cleaning, arranging, and then analyzing this massive volume of data in one location is definitely going to be an issue. And I believe a cloud-based platform will be the only solution. So a lot of cloud-based providers like AWS and GCP have already started providing AI-based services. And definitely a lot of companies will be moving their cloud-based solutions to, will be moving their AI-based solutions to the cloud. And definitely there will be a lot of improvement in low code and no code technologies because as companies are beginning to implement AI and data science, so they're actually valuing the out of box models for solutions in the areas related to language and vision. So I mean, it actually reduces a lot of time being taken from development of the model to productionizing it. So a lot of focus is going to be on AutoML tools and AutoML services. A lot of startups and companies are beginning to work on that. So this will actually reduce the work of data scientists a lot. So they might now be just focusing on creating domain-based features more than writing code to generate features to test various models. So yeah, apart from these, as the adoption and reliance on AI to make automated decision making. Since this grows exponentially, I believe there will also be a rise in responsible AI, because language models are being trained on the entire open web, on large corpuses of data, and we know that those data, they are not unbiased and they are not fair. So it happens many cases that these machine learning models, they will output predictions which might be biased. And so since these outputs are being a lot of these outputs are being used in decision making, so I believe there will be a significant rise in responsible AI. And talking about language models, they will become even larger. Like OpenAI's GPT-3 came up with 175 billion parameter model. And so I believe in future, Open GPT-4 or GPT-5 or anything which comes up, so they will go, the number of parameters in these models will go even higher and higher. And the most important thing and exciting thing which I'm looking forward is the amalgamation between data science and blockchain. I mean, it would be really exciting to see what can be done and achieved when these two streams combine with each other.
Nice. This is really interesting, and I'm sure this will give our developers a good idea of what they should learn in the coming year, right? So here I would like to call upon our senior developers. If you have 3+ years of experience and you are confident with your tech stack, you can go to turing.com/jobs. Search for the job that you that's related to your tech stack, and once you pass the vet process, you'll get a job as Arnad and I did. And so we have jobs in over 100+ technologies, including data science and machine learning. And go to Turing website, turing.com/jobs, and apply for these jobs. Okay, so Arnab, this has been a pretty amazing discussion, and I think it's time to bring our talk to the end. But before that, before I let you go, I would love to know how an engineers with no background, okay, in computer science or in IT, and with no experience in DS and ML can transition into one of these roles?
So I believe I'm the right person to answer this question, because even I didn't have any background in computer science and IT,
yes,
and have worked both as a data scientist and a machine learning engineer. So yeah, let me start with data science. So for this, you definitely need to strengthen your core mathematical skills. And that's a must, because knowledge of linear algebra and statistics is very, very crucial to understand. So this will actually give a deeper understanding on the various machine learning algorithms. And the second thing is to understand when and why to use a model, and the advantage and disadvantages of each and every model. And for this, I believe that you need to have some hands-on projects experience and maybe participate in a couple of hackathons. So once you have a really good grip on these traditional ML models, then you can explore more complex stuff like natural language processing or computer vision. So this was on the theoretical side. On the programming front, you need to understand a bit, you need to have a basic understanding of at least one of the high-level programming languages like Python or R, and then work yourself on the various data science libraries like scikit-learn, NumPy, Pandas, etc. And then move on to learn different frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch. And the best part of beginning as a data scientist is that all the materials, like literally the best literature, courses and all, they're available free online, and they are within one click away from you. So for an ML engineer, you definitely need to know some high level knowledge on the core machine learning algorithms and statistics. Not as much as deep as a data scientist, but yeah, definitely a high level overview. Most importantly, as a machine learning engineer, you need to be technically and programmatically sound. I mean, start with computer science fundamentals and programming concepts like data structures and algorithms, move to time complexities, understand computer literature. You need to also have a deep understanding of system design and software engineering best practices. Learn about how different services interact with each other using REST API calls or database queries. And definitely you need to have a strong grip on Python, C, C++, or Java. And yeah, most of these materials are also online, but I definitely believe that working on a self project, maybe hosting a machine learning model, trying to connect back to the database. So yeah, these things will make you more confident towards these positions.
That was really, really, really helpful. So thank you, Arnab, for such valuable advice. I hope our audience enjoyed that as much as I did. And as that said, that is a wrap. So thanks so much for joining us today. If you have any question that we didn't discuss today, if you have any query, you can always go reach us out at support@turing.com. Raise your ticket there. We have a dedicated team for that. They usually reply that in the same day, okay? Or if not, in the next day. Comment down below if you enjoyed that as much as I did. And don't forget to subscribe and give us the big fat thumbs up in this video. Subscribe to our channel. Go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and keep close at Turing. Then I'm pretty much sure that you will get the job that you deserve.